What I'm getting at here is that shame hides in plain sight. It's possible to acknowledge it when it's unconscious. It can present itself as a few examples: humility, saying things like, I don't need praise or I don't need recognition. It can be stoicism, where you say, oh, I don't need help with anything. Lack of emotions, being hyper individualistic. Another one is being over disciplined, making sure everything's perfect in order to avoid the shame that you think you're going to feel if you get criticized or rejected. So it's usually masked by anger, withdrawal, and this is a common one I've seen: being very overly judgmental of other people. Because you're so nitpicky about yourself, it causes you to project onto others. So on to the good bit. So how do we cope with shame? The first step to anything mental health related is to acknowledge that it's there. There is a lot of power in acknowledging it and naming it as shame. The shitty thing about shame is that because we're so ashamed of being ashamed, you just push it down, and it can be quite scary to actually name it as being there. For me, therapy helped me realize where my internal shame lied. You get what I'm saying? For me, what helped was values and core beliefs work. So we went through a list of general core beliefs that people have about themselves that are negative, that cause shame and negative self-talk. And mine was that I'm not important enough. And my shame grew from not being acknowledged enough. I then believed that my thoughts and my opinions were not valued or taken into consideration in making decisions about me, or were not taken into consideration at all, really. So that drove me to believe that they don't matter, and that those thoughts and feelings should be shoved down, and I should replace them with something else, something that appeases other people, something that is more palatable for others. So I hope that sort of gives an example of what I'm getting at. I'm going to give you quite a long list of examples of internal monologues that could reflect unconscious shame that you have. I'm not saying that these are the only ones, but I feel like this just gives a good rounded gist of the sort of things that you can look out for in your own head. So the first category is self-worth and identity. This could be things like, I'm not good enough no matter what I do. Who do I think I am trying to do this? They're going to find out I'm a fraud. That touches on imposter syndrome, which I think is largely associated with shame about your abilities. And I'm too much, or I'm not enough. The next category is perfectionism and achievement. This could be things like